charantikam. First of all, I offer my sastang dandavat puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times, at the lotus feet of my holy master, Asmadeva Parmaradatam Guru Pada Padma, Nitya Lila Pravist Om Vishnupad, Ashtotarasita Sisamaj, Rupanugatarivaja, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara, and I offer my pranam to the Samud Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas. So, by the causes Masad Sri Puran Karanga, we are hearing Sri Uddhava sandesh, the message of Krsna carried by Uddhava to Vrndavan. So yesterday, we heard how from the external point of view, Uddhava was taken by a charioteer, Sarathi, from Mathura to Vrndavan. But actually, hearing from the lips of Sri Krishna about the glories of the Brijvasis, his heart became overwhelmed with the eagerness to experience their love, which is completely free from any tinge of Aishwarya Bhav, Madhurya Maya Prem. And therefore, on the Manorat, that means on the chariot of his desire, he was carried swiftly to Vrndavan. And as he arrived there, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami said, Yat kinchit trinakul makikiti mukam goste samastam hitat sarvananda mayam mukundaytam leelanukulam param shastra eva muhu muhu sputamidam nistankitam yatsneya brahma de apisas praying taridam sarvam maya vandite. I am bowing down and praying to every blade of grass, every creeper, every bird, and even the insects of transcendental Vrndavan, because all of them are absorbed in love for Shri Krishna. All of them are serving in an anukul, in a favorable way to the pastimes of Shri Krishna. Everything is of Vrndavan is supernatural and completely permeated with love for Krishna. So when he arrived there, he had never seen such a place. Such a place when only seeing the trees, he began to have a sphurti in his heart. It is said that the Vaishnava Uttama, Vaishnava Pradhan, the chief among the Vaishnavas, is that person upon seeing whom at once the name appears up. One who chants continuously is called Vaishnava Tara, Vaishnava Shashta, the best among the Vaishnavas. But Vaishnava Pradhan is the one upon only seeing him, the name comes. So when Uddhava came to Vrndavan, only seeing the trees, then he began to have a sphurti of Krishna's form in his heart. How Krishna was eating fruit beneath this tree, how he was reclining under this tree. As he moved further into Vrndavan, flocks of birds were taking off and singing. And the birds themselves, they were singing because they were having sphurti due to their prem of Krishna. And this was awakening the visions in the heart of Uddhava of Krishna in his sweet form as a cowherd boy in Vrndavan. And as he got further, he saw cows mooing, calves drinking milk from the udders of their mothers, bulls bashing heads and fighting over their mates. And then he actually began to have the saksat darshan even, and he began to see Krishna here and there. What kind of place is this? And as he got closer to Nandagan, all the cows were returning in the evening. That time is Goduli. There was dust everywhere, so no one saw him arrive. And we heard how he parked his chariot outside the house of Nanda Baba. Then he sat on one vedi, that's a raised platform, outside the house of Nanda Maharaj. And some Brijvasis saw him and wondered, who is this? He looks like Krishna. A fragrance is coming like Krishna, but we're not feeling the same joy. How strange. And they went and reported to Nanda Baba. Nanda Baba, oh, it's Uddhava. Nanda Baba got up and went outside. Uddhava gave pranams at his lotus feet. And Nanda Baba lifted him and bathed him in tears. And Uddhava was standing with folded hands, and Nanda Baba caught his hands, said, oh come, and brought him inside, and brought him in the presence of Yasoda Maya, and said, oh, this is Uddhava. Uddhava. What does the word Uddhava mean? Yes. Sakshat Uddhava. Directly he is a festival of joy. But Mother Yasoda, she could not properly receive him because she cannot see. She's not blind, but so many tears are coming from her eyes she cannot see. Nanda Baba arranged, some servants of the house came and they did a puja to Uddhava. And a Brahmin from nearby prepared one portion for one person of Paramanda, Kheer. And they gave this to Uddhava and made him take rest. Then after resting, Nanda Baba approached him. And of course the only thing on the mind of Nanda Maharaj is, how is my Krishna? But he cannot bring himself to say this. He's afraid that it will break the dam, and then the ocean of sorrow will begin to flow. So he said, oh Uddhava, how is my Sakha, my friend Vasudeva? I remember my father used to, that's Parjanya Maharaj, used to love Vasudeva like his own son. When we were two children, we used to play together. How is he now? That he's become free from the prison cell of Kamsa, that all his relatives have returned from various places after the atrocities of Kamsa, all have been united. He wanted to know of his welfare, because also now some enemies may attack Mathura. So Nanda Maharaj said, oh, we have heard some rumors that Krishna went far away to Gurukul, but now he's returned. So does that boy whom I carried in my heart for a long time, so he's remembering, even before Krishna was born, in a dream he saw him. We said that before Krishna was born, Nanda Baba was a sadhu. How is that? Bhagavadapita Nishkarma Karma Yoga. He's doing everything perfectly with no attachments at all, and offering the fruit to God. But once his baby was born, now he was very attached and doing so many kamas, giving so much charity and doing extra yagyas and extra pious activities, extra puja, everything. Why? So that his son will be happy. Yes, he even went to Mathura and paid taxes to Kamsa Maharaj to make sure to guarantee the family security. Because Putana came at the time when he was there in Mathura. And when he came back, he saw this huge, 12 miles long body. What is this? Hands are like bridges. The stomach is like a dried up lake. The thighs are like the banks of a river. So, he was thinking of his child. His child. As Gargacharya says, Nanda Atmaja, the natural born son of Nanda Maharaj. As Lord Brahma said, Pashupangajaya. His son, it's his son. He said, does that boy remember me sometimes? Does he remember his mother Yasoda? Does he remember his friends? Subhav, Sridham? He used to play with them, he didn't want to give up playing with them. It was very hard to prize him away from his friends. Does he now remember them sometimes? Each one of his cows was more dear to him than his own self. Does he remember his cows? Does he remember his forest of Vrndavan? When Krsna used to go to the forest and see the beauty of Vrndavan, he was so struck with wonder that he would just forget to eat. His mother Yasoda was always concerned, oh, he's becoming skinny, he should eat more. Because only seeing the beauty of Vrndavan, he would completely forget eating. Nanda Baba said, oh Uddhava, will one day Krishna return? Even just for a moment, that I can see his beautiful face and lotus eyes just once more. He was considering that, oh, I am not asking him just to come back and stay here, but just once may I see him again. What was the condition of Mother Yasoda in separation? She used to wander around the house and she saw the marble calf, a toy that Krsna used to play with. My Gurudev often used to say, once Krsna when he was a baby, he was stealing yogurt, stealing butter. And one mother came and caught him. I caught you red-handed, you thief. Why are you stealing? Krishna said, I am not stealing. Then what are you doing? He said, oh, my calf, I came here. My calf wandered in here. I came here to look for my calf. They said, oh, well, where is your calf? And then Krishna, he took his hand out of the yogurt pot and he had his toy calf. And then he smiled, and then she was bewildered by his beauty and he ran away. So Krishna used to play with the toy marble calf his father had given to him. So, oh, my calf is very naughty. So Mother Yasoda, after Krishna is gone, she saw his toys. And she picked them up and she wrapped them in a cloth. And then she walked out from the house. And then she became stunned. And it was 12 o'clock midday, the sun was extremely hot and she was standing in the blazing sun with a cloth wrapped up with some of Krishna's childhood toys. At that time, some of her sakhis came. And they said, oh Yasoda, what are you doing? She said, I am going to Mathura, and there I will go to the palace of Devaki, and I will request her, oh Queen Devaki, please accept me as a Dasi, one maidservant in your house. and I will sweep and clean and cook and wash, do washing, all things. And not for any pay, even. Only one thing I ask, that once, every day, you allow me to see the face of your son. And saying this, Yasoda she fainted in the arms of her sakhis, and they carried her and brought her into the house. So Nanda Maharaj, seeing the condition of Yasoda, the sakhis, the cows don't eat grass anymore. The peacocks don't dance anymore. Even the bumblebees, they don't take honey from the flowers, and the bumblebees are rolling on the earth and crying in separation. This is Vrndavan. In Mathura Viraha. So Nanda Baba said, oh Uddhava, Krishna protected us from Trinavarta. He protected us from the forest fire. He protected us from the thunderbolt of Indra even. Is he not going to save us now? When we used to see him, how he smiles, how he glanced at us, and just hearing his laughter, then all Brijbasis would become stunned with joy. Nanda Baba, he said, oh look at our condition. Yasoda, she's weeping and she won't open her eyes. Why? Even though many sakhis, hundreds of her friends, they come to console her. She said, no, I won't open my eyes. I only want to see the face of my child. You bring me my child, I'll open my eyes. I don't want to see anything, I just want to see the face of my son. Uddhava, if you tell, oh, you will feel better if you go outside, go for a walk, then this will also not help. Because when we go outside, in each place, there we see the beautiful footprints of Krishna, and we are reminded of his pastimes. If Nanda Baba would go on the bank of the Jamuna, then what happens? His voice is choked, his heart is breaking. He remembers. He used to come with two boys holding hands. One side Krishna, one side Balaram. And with his two sons, he used to come to the river, and then they used to bathe together there and play in the water. Then they came out from the water, they would dry and dress, and then Nanda Baba, he would pick up Balaram and put him on one shoulder, and Balaram would sit on one shoulder, and pick up Krishna and put Krishna on the other shoulder. And holding the two boys on the shoulder, then he would carry them back to the house for prasada. So Nanda Baba, he said, oh, I tried to feel better, I went for a walk outside. But what happened? When he came on the bank of Jamuna, then he is remembering how he's playing with his sons. And walking there, and Nanda Baba looks and sees Krishna is sitting on his shoulder and Balaram is sitting on the other shoulder. He has sphurti of his boys, and he feels so much joy. For a few moments. And then this Vipalamba Vispurti, it disappears. What is the special quality of Vipalamba Vispurti? When it disappears, the separation becomes double. and his separation is double. So what he intended to do to find some relief by going out in the fresh air on the river, what happened? All became more difficult. Nanda Baba said all the trees, all the rivers, all the mountains, everywhere reminds me of my child. Uddhava is just watching, looking at Nanda and Yasoda in astonishment. He has never before seen such prem, not in such quality and also not in such quantity as well. Nanda Baba said, ignorant persons may criticize me because I'm attached to my son. Because those who are really dharmic, they do their duties, but they should not be so attached. We are hearing all the katha in Bhagavad Gita. How is a truly religious, Vedic, dharmic person? They act without attachment. Putra dara grihadishu anasaktasya. In the 20 angas of Dhyan, one is don't be attached to your wife and sons, everything. So Nanda Baba is saying, ignorant people, they may criticize me that I have this anurag for my boys. But Uddhava, I want to confide in you, let me tell you something. My boys, Krishna and Balaram, they are not ordinary persons. They could be some demigods. Srimad Bhagavatam, he said, Surottamo. Sura means devatas, demigods. Uttam means highest, in dual place, Surottamo. The two of them, they could be some demigods who have come to this world on a mission, to do a special mission for the devatas. Krishna and Balaram, they are the object of dhyan for the devarshis, for the rishis, the sages among the demigods. Meditate upon them. So anyone should not, I am attached, yes, but they are not ordinary. So then, Nanda Maharaj, having remembered the sweet, loving relationship of Krishna with everyone, he began to see the astonishing powers of Krishna. He said, Uddhava, these boys, both you and I know, they have wonderful powers. You know that? Kamsa Maharaj, in his arms he has the power of 10,000 elephants. But Krishna and Balaram, they killed him. And also Chanura and Mustik and so many other wrestlers, just like they were playing in the forest with their friends. Wrestling, easily they defeated them all. Not only that, Krishna defeated the powerful war elephant, Kuvalayapida. And there it was the Dhanujagya. It was a bow sacrifice. And there was the huge bow of Lord Shiva. Anyone could not even string this bow. And what did Krishna do? He just picked it up and he broke it, like breaking the stem of a flower. Is that normal? Is that ordinary? Not only that, all those pastimes were in Mathura. But here in Vrndavan, he killed Agasur, Bakasura, Dhenukasura, and Keshi Daitya, and so many others. What to speak of that? He even lifted a mountain, the king of mountain, Girinipa Haridasa Sreni Variyati Nama. The king of mountains, he lifted for 7 days. Is that ordinary? But still, though he has so many symptoms of an extraordinary, powerful personality, I still accept him as my Komalaputra, very tender boy. His powers, knowing that he has done these things, this doesn't make any difference to me. I still accept him as my tender child. And surely, he is my son because, do you know what the proof is? How he behaves with me. How he is attached to me. How he comes running and playing in my lap. If I don't give him attention, then he's, oh Baba, 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 pulling my clothes. He's very happy when I chew tambo and then give my remnant in his mouth. This is that's a very sweet part of Vatsalya Bhav. That sometimes the parents, they chew the tambo and break it, and then they give their chew tambo to their child to chew. So Krishna, he takes my chew tambo and becomes very happy. Sometimes he's telling lies. Sometimes he's doing mischief. Sometimes when he was a small child, if in the night time there was a thunderstorm, then he would come from his room and go to the bedroom of his mother and say, oh Maya, I'm afraid. So then, remembering these things, Nanda Baba, his voice choked. Tears were streaming from his face. He became stunned. He could not speak any longer. And next to him, Mother Yasoda, she was weeping. And milk was flowing from her breast. And it was making like a river of milk and tears flowing through the house. Uddhava thought she would become a river. What is it? This milk is her Vatsalya Prem. She has more milk than Krsna, the ocean of milk. Endless Prem. So then Uddhava, he was thinking, how can I counsel them? Krishna said to me, Pitro na pratimavaha. Bring consolation to my parents. But he thought, what can I do? If I tell them, oh, don't cry, then what is this? They are crying out of love for Krishna, the Supreme Lord. All the Vedas say that one should surrender fully to God. The purpose of all of the Vedas is only to love God. And they are crying out of love of God. If I'll tell them, don't cry, then I will be going against all the Vedas. Rather I should say, cry more. But Krishna told me to go and console them, so I cannot say that either. So on the one hand, I cannot satisfy what Krishna has told me to do. And if I try to do it, then I will be going against all the Vedas also. So Uddhava was in a dilemma. He thought, this is my greatest fortune of my life. That with my eyes I have beheld such shelters of pure and natural love for Krishna. But it seems that upon seeing me and remembering Krishna, they are about to die. They may leave at any moment. So what can I do to save them? On the one hand, Krishna cannot come here. And on the other hand, their love is so intense, it cannot be reduced. But if somehow or other I can stagita. Stagita means I can interrupt. They're in a flow of sweet feelings for Krishna. If I can somehow or other interrupt that flow, then they may stay alive. And I may save them from drowning in this ocean of separation. So, the only way I can stagita, that means interrupt this flow of separation and their great feelings of distress, is by two things. First one, I will tell them that how Krishna is God, the Supreme Lord. I will speak about this. And secondly, I will glorify how fortunate they are, how great their prem is. And in this way, I'll interrupt the flow of their disappointment and sadness, and somehow they keep them alive. So sometimes it's told that when Uddhava is speaking with Nanda Maharaj, he's telling him that he is God, because Uddhava is not truly aware of the sweetness of Krishna, and so he's speaking that he's God, or he's not being properly sensitive to the feelings of Nanda and Yasoda. Jai Sisi Radha Shama Sundar. But actually, Uddhava he knows the heart of Krishna. He's inspired by Krishna. He has a feeling, sensitivity for their feelings. But he now will try to speak Tattva Gyan and speak about the glories of Prem in order just to make an interruption, because they seem to be going into a state where they may even leave this world. So out of kindness, out of the compassion, understanding for them, and being there to fulfill Krishna's mission, Pitro na pratimavaha, to console his parents, he will speak. So Uddhava was thinking that actually now is a good opportunity. So far he was listening to Nanda Maharaj, but now is a good opportunity to interject and speak something about Krishna's Bhagavata. Because Nanda Baba himself, he brought up the subject. He said, Uddhava, let me tell you, my boys are not ordinary, so let me just pick up the conversation from there. This is the appropriate moment to interject. So Uddhava, he said, Oh Nanda Maharaj, Krishna is Lord Narayan. He is Swayam Bhagavan. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, because you have such natural love for Him, you are the most fortunate persons. Those who have love for God are the most fortunate. Those who have natural love are more fortunate. And out of those who have natural love, those who have Vatsalya Prem, the parental love, their fortune is inestimable. So then, Nanda Baba, he looked at Uddhava. He said, Oh Uddhava, I heard that you were very intelligent. Because everyone knows he is the disciple of Brihaspati, direct disciple of Brihaspati, so he must be. He said, I have heard that you are very intelligent, but now I understand that even your milk teeth did not come through. You know, when the baby is born, the first set of teeth are milk teeth, and the parents looking to see if the milk teeth are starting to come. He said, but now I understand, even your milk teeth have not come through yet. Why? So, it may be that what you have said is true. Krishna is Lord Narayan. Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. You may have said. It may be correct. But, in this world, even a person who has a son, just a natural born son, when they lose him, they can die in separation. And you are telling me I am so fortunate that now my son is not just an only child, but I have the Supreme Personality of Godhead came as my son. And I've lost him. Now my loss is even greater than what I thought before. And still I am alive. Someone losing an ordinary child may die. I have the most wonderful, most extraordinary child, and I have lost him. That makes me more unfortunate, and I am still alive. Why are you telling that I am fortunate and my prem is great? He said, in this world there was only one father. That is Dasi Maharaj. Because when his son, Lord Ramachandra, went to the forest, he called Ha Ram, Ha Ram, Ha, and he left. Nanda Baba, suddenly in the ocean of Vatsayuras, a huge wave of Dainya Bhav, humility came. He said, oh, Krishna is gone because Krishna, he lives only for love, and I could not love him enough. I am not qualified to be his father. So, now Nanda Baba, he was in a very critical condition. And Uddhava was thinking, what can I do, what can I say to relieve him? Uddhava thought, if I quickly go back to Mathura and bring Krishna here, then what will happen? Jarasandha will, knowing that Krishna has left Mathura, will attack and destroy Mathura in his absence. And if I bring Krishna here, and then he hears of the attack and he has to rush back, then the condition for Brijbasis will be worse. Why? Because if you have ghee and it's very, very hot, and it's extremely hot, little smoke is rising from it. So, can you cool it down by taking a drop of water? What will happen if you put a drop of water in boiling ghee? Like this. So, meeting with Krishna, but only seeing him for a moment, without being able to fulfill in even a small way their ambitions to serve him and love him in his presence. So that association for just a day or so will be like only a drop of water in the boiling ghee of their separation. So to bring him and then take him away suddenly, that will be worse than not bringing him at all. And if I will tell, oh Nanda and Yasoda, don't worry, Krishna will surely return in 4 or 5 years when he's solved all the geopolitical situation with all the demons and armies everywhere going against the Yadu dynasty. It will just take him 4 or 5 years to solve this, and then he'll come back. Then they'll think 4 or 5 years, and then he'll suddenly die. And if I tell, it's okay if I lie and say he's coming in 4 or 5 days, then after 4 or 5 days they see that he's not here, then they'll know that I was lying, and they'll also become hopeless. So what can I say? So what Uddhava, he came up with a solution for this. But he will tell Nanda Maharaj tomorrow. Go to Premananda.